whole conversation has been a bit blown out of proportion, I have to say. The Battlefield games on console has always been running in 30 FPS. Our game, the pace of our game, it really fits the 30 FPS. And what's really important for us that we are focusing on innovating in our games and really keep the Battlefield formula alive, meaning that we have to make some kind of choices. So we have vehicles, we have vast open environments, we have more players, we have all-out destruction and these kind of things. It's not a technical challenge to get it to run at 60, but you have to scale back in some areas then, and we're not willing to do that. We want to keep the core concept of what Battlefield is about, and that means that we'd rather stay with 30 FPS because we are convinced that it's a good shooter experience there on 30 FPS as well. I mean, with Battlefield, which was born on multiplayer with big open environments, which is still a key pillar of what we're doing, we believe that in the single player there should be a mix. There should be a mix of more control sections, which then open up into bigger areas where we can have more of the sandbox-like gameplay. It's a challenge, it is, but we want to create some kind of variation in between the different environments in the single player, but there will be a mix of both. The perception of AI is quite wide. A lot of people can say, oh, that was a great AI, and actually when we look at it as game developers, like, yeah, that was a great animation being played. The perception of a good AI is a lot of systems that work together, anything from navigation to shooting back to different states, going to cover and then playing the right animations in the right order and then the blending in between these. There's a lot of, and then of course you have VO and voiceovers from the enemies on top of that. There's so many things happening. We are dedicated to really make a good AI experience in Battlefield 3, naturally. We need to have an AI that can recognize if the covers have been taken out and they need to move smartly, move away from that cover if it happens. But on a more bigger scale, the destruction definitely changes how the maps are played out. But the interesting part about Battlefield is that it's always been these huge open maps with a lot of vehicles and weapons, and we like to call it that we base it on a rock, paper, scissors mentality, that there's always something that can take out the other vehicle, there's always one weapon that can counter that or something like that. So it's basically almost like a system that works in itself. And when we threw in destruction with having more dynamic environments in there, it actually worked pretty well by itself. There were some maps that actually, after a while, if you played very long in the same area, you just grinded down everything to the bottom, which made it really hard sometimes for like the defenders on a rush map. So then when we see these things, okay, we have to add some covers that actually are not destructible, like some heavy metal fences or something like that. So that's what our game designers are really looking into, and the level designers, to make sure that it's not destroying the experience, but the destruction didn't really rupture the whole Battlefield system. It actually was just a nice add-on that pretty much worked by itself. If you want to be successful on the Battlefield, play together as a squad and as a team. But there's also a lot of cool new things that people can find in Battlefield 3 when it comes to playing as a team. There's a lot of new weapon systems that work together in between vehicles and infantry, also between like the jets in the game as well, so you can have different positions in different vehicles that can spot and target vehicles, that then locks a weapon system from anything from infantry handheld weapons to locked missiles from the jets or something like that can latch onto. So there's a lot of new things if you start scratching the surface there with the weapon systems and the weapon customization and the vehicle customization that people will probably like when they start doing that. So play as a team, start looking into the new weapon systems, and definitely enjoy the new vehicles as well, especially the jets.